A very good evening to all. I am Dr. Amit Biswas, Associate Professor and Head of Agriculture Engineering Department of Health Institute of Technology. Today I am going to deliver one video lecture on the topic of Introduction to Basic Agriculture. So now at first we have to know that what is agriculture. It originates from two words. One is agar or agri, that means soil, and another one is the cultura, it is cultivation. So in combination it is agriculture. So it is basically the applied science. It covers all the crop production, fisheries, livestock management, and soil preparation extra. So now the agricultural crops. What are the uh, different agricultural crops? So one is food crops, forage crops, fiber crops, oil crops, ornamental crops. Another one is industrial crops. So among food crops, the cereals, fruit, vegetables like rice, wheat. Among the cereals, apple, mango. Among the fruits, lettuce, potato, brinjal. Among the vegetables, forage crops cover the millet, sorghum. Fiber crops cover the cotton, hemp, jute, etc. Oil crops, that means the sunflower, rapeseed, etc. Ornamental crops, oleander, tulips, and industrial crops is coffee, tea, etc. So now the agricultural practices. What are the different agricultural practices which are commonly used? First one is the soil preparation. After that, sowing, or or after that the transplanting in case of rice. And after that, manuring, irrigation, weeding, harvesting, storage. Now the importance of soil in agriculture. Why soil is important in agriculture? Soil acts as a natural resource for agriculture. It is the crop growth and production medium. It provides nutrients for crops like NPK. It is habitat for living organisms. It acts as an absorber of gases like CO2. It acts as a filtration medium for water and wastes. Now the important soil qualities and characteristics for agriculture. So first one is the nutrient availability, soil texture, organic carbon, pH, total extensible basis. Number two is the nutrient retention capacity, soil organic carbon, soil texture, base saturation, cation exchange capacity of soil. Rooting condition. Under rooting condition, it is the soil texture, bulk density, coarse fragments, vertical soil properties, and soil phases affecting root penetration, soil depth, as well as the soil volume. Oxygen availability to roots, soil drainage and soil phases. Excess salts, soil salinity, soil sodicity, and soil phases. And last one is the toxicity. It is calcium carbonate and gypsum. Soil nutrients for crop production. So what are the several soil nutrients? So one is the macronutrients, that is nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, calcium, magnesium. So nitrogen is required for strong foliage growth, leaf development, chlorophyll production, green colored leaf. Phosphorus is required for root and flower growth, plant growth under harsh climate. Potassium is required for plant protection from insect disease and strengthening and water retention. Sulfur is required for disease resistance, production of proteins, amino acid, vitamins, and enzymes. Calcium is required for disease resistance, nitrate uptake, cell wall development, and metabolism. Magnesium is required for green coloration of plants. Now the micronutrients. So several micronutrients are required, that is iron, manganese, zinc, copper, boron, molybdenum, chlorine, and nickel. Iron is for chlorophyll formation. Manganese is for assistance to iron in chlorophyll formation, activator for growth enzymes. Zinc is required for plant growth regulation, root growth. Copper is for enzyme activation. Boron is for pollination, fertilization, and more. Molybdenum is for transformation of nitrate nitrogen into amino acids. Chlorine is for photosynthesis and root growth. Nickel is required for life cycle completion of plants. Now the worldwide scenarios of fertilization. So as you all know that the agriculture is basically is dependent on the fertilizer, chemical fertilizer, organic fertilizer. So it is the scenario basically the chemical fertilizer consumption worldwide. So first one is for Mexico. It is 2.51 million metric tons of nutrients. Argentina 2.52. uh, Turkey 2.57, Vietnam 2.62, Ukraine 2.68, Bangladesh 3.11, Australia 3.43, Canada 4.57, Russia 4.59, Pakistan 4.98, Indonesia 7.17, USA 18.27, Brazil 21.17, India it is the second highest, that is 29.8 million metric tons of nutrients, and basically it is chemical fertilizer, and China is the highest, that is 42.31 million metric tons. Now the global scenario of pesticide or insecticides application. For India it is 76% insecticide, herbicide 10%, fungicide 13%, and others 1%. And from a world point of view it is 44% insecticide, herbicide 30%, fungicide 21%, others is 5%. Now, some farming practices are good for environmental point of view, and some uh, those farming practices are called the safe farming practices. So, number one is cover crops, number two is crop rotations, number three is organic farming, number four land use diversifications, number five efficient irrigation practice, and thereafter good quality of irrigation water. So, safe farming practices cover all these things: cover crops, crop rotation, organic farming, and all the other cases. So now cover crops. Why cover crops are required? It improves soil health, it improves nutrient cycling, it prevents soil erosion, it decreases soil compaction, it increases organic matter, it conserves soil moisture, increase infiltration of water, increase crop yield, reduce fertilizer requirement, reduce pesticide requirement, protect water quality, reduce leaching, it increase weed suppression, attract inefficient insects. Now the crop rotation. Why crop rotation is required? It is required for nutrient preservation in soil, water conservation, crop disease and pest control, effective weed management, improved soil structure, and enhanced crop productivity. Now the basic of organic farming. So organic farming, it does not include any chemical fertilizer. So it has advantages. Number one, promotes sustainable development. It is eco-friendly in nature. Nutritious food can be produced. It is economical, inexpensive, and highly demanding. And here some disadvantages are also there. That is limited production of agricultural crop, shorter shelf life of agricultural crop. Now the worldwide scenarios of organic farming. So here for Australia it is the highest organic farming cultivated area, for highest for Australia. Australia for it is 35.69 million hectares. So number second is the Argentina 3.63, China it is 3.14, Spain 2.25, Uruguay 2.15, France 2.04, USA 2.02, Italy 1.96, India it is only 1.94 million hectares under organic farming, and Germany it is 1.52. So highest is for Australia, it is 35.69 million hectares. Now for agricultural purposes, so many irrigation practices are followed, such as uh, surface irrigation, water irrigation, furrow irrigation, then check basin irrigation for rice cultivation. Sometime for rice cultivation, the SRI technique, AWR technique, that is system of rice intensification, alternate wetting and drying, some subsurface irrigation, some micro irrigations are also practiced, that is like drip irrigation, sprinkler irrigation. So many irrigation practices are followed for different agricultural crops in India, in abroad, in irrespective of any climatic condition, either dry condition, tropical climate, cold climate, whatever. So many irrigation practices are followed. So among them, we have to find the efficient irrigation practices. So from that point of view, we have to first uh, know the which crop we are going to produce and how much water is required, how much seasonal water is required, how much daily water is required. So everything we have to know. So here first the thing, so irrigation scheduling, we have to know the irrigation frequency, irrigation scheduling, we have to know for different agricultural crops. All these things are different. For rice cultivation, one kind of uh, the irrigation practices are followed. For vegetable cultivation, for jute cultivation. So the irrigation practices are not same for all kinds of agricultural crops. So among them, efficient irrigation practices are utmost important. So what is irrigation efficiency first? Irrigation efficiency is a critical measure of irrigation performance in terms of the water required to irrigate a field, farm, basin, irrigation district, or an entire watershed. So, what is the advantage of efficient irrigation practices? It prevents disease by minimizing water contact with the leaves, stems, and fruits of plants. It allows the rows between plants to remain dry, improving access and reducing weed growth. It removes excess salt from the root zone through small area irrigation. It saves time, money, and water because the system is so efficient. It decreases labor requirement. It increases effectiveness on uneven ground. It also reduces the leaching of water and nutrients below the root zone. So for rice cultivation, for water intensive crops, the irrigation management are different. For vegetable crops or under dry climate, irrigation condition is different, irrigation requirement is different. So among all other irrigations, among surface irrigation, subsurface, micro irrigation, among all other irrigations, the drip irrigation system is found to be most efficient irrigation system because it applies the irrigation water only at the root zone of the crops. So it reduces the water losses, leaching losses, nutrient losses, and water footprint is least under drip irrigation system as compared to the other irrigation system like surface irrigation, sprinkler irrigation, and all other. So here the efficient irrigation practice, here is the figure of drip irrigation system. It is the network of drip irrigation system here, lateral, sublateral, filtration. So under drip irrigation system, the sand filter will be also there to filtration to filter out the pollutants, contaminants from water, and the dripper or emitter. Here is the dripper or emitter. Water seeps through that dripper or emitter and water is only allowed to drop at the root zone, only at the root zone. That's why the no water stagnation is there, water loss is minimized, evaporation loss is minimized, and water footprint list under drip irrigation system. That's why the drip irrigation system is most efficient irrigation system in comparison with all other irrigation system like uh, surface irrigation like furrow irrigation, uh, check basin irrigation, and other irrigation system like sprinkler irrigation. So among all these things, the drip irrigation system is most efficient irrigation system. So here is the basic of agriculture. It is the what is agriculture, and in agriculture what is the medium of agriculture, and what are the different crops, and what are the different irrigation systems, and why nutrients are required. What are the basic requirements for agricultural practices like fertilizer, pesticide, or different crops, different fertilizer, different pesticides are required. And so here it is the basic agriculture. So in next, in future, we'll discuss the irrigation water quality. So next video we'll do that. Thank you. Thanks a lot.